growing up, I thought if you're visually impaired, it means that you can't see. So the room is dark or everything's so blurry that you can't make sense of what it is. I didn't know until later in life, going through my own impacts from traumatic brain injury, cranialcervical and atlantoaxial instability that took me into an atlantoaxial dislocation, that visual impairment can mean a lot of things. You can technically have vision coming in, but your brain can be so overtaxed that it can't make sense of it. And in my case, for example, it can mean that vision's coming in, but because there's interference between how my brain and eyes and inner ears feel, they all disagree on what they're seeing, everything is constantly moving and shaking. That can mean at times I'm looking at something, but because my brain is juggling at such high of a rate, it can't make sense of what that object is. It can mean that I can soft focus on an item, but the second I have to, like with the task of reading a sign, for example, when you're out in community, I might be able to see that all the letters are there, but I can't take in the information knowing what those letters are or how it puts a word together. Visual impairment can mean that you can technically just get by those tasks, but when you're reading a book, you feel seasick and you're exhausted, that you're living on a merry-go-round per se, that your brain is always processing motion, so you're taxed trying to make sense of something as you're constantly dizzy. There are a lot of different ways that we're being impacted, and those of us living with invisible disabilities or invisible symptoms, we're often working so hard. We have a less battery to start, and we're running out of battery sooner, but we're also people who are really disciplined to find ways